Howdy out there, everyone. Today we're going to take a quick look at this 2017 release of Hostiles, a film by Scott Miller, who of course most notably directed Crazy Hearts, Out of the Furnace, and most recently The Pale Blue Eye, which is on Netflix right now, and stars Christian Bale, Rosamund Pike, and Wes Studi from most famously The Last of the Mohicans, where he played Magua. Terrific character. And Scott Miller, I think he's clearly a man with talent, and I think the cinematography is quite pretty, and the acting is all top shelf from really everyone involved in the cast. And it has some really good supporting players too. Jesse Plemons, the actor who was known as Herschel on The Walking Dead. His name escapes me, but he was a good character actor. I think he was actually in Cold Blood, I want to say. The movie with Robert Blake. But in any case, the movie as a whole I think works, although I feel like they hit you over the head a little bit with their thesis, which is that we are all hostiles. And while that is true, I think that when you look at the sort of evolution of the characters in the film, I'm not sure that I totally buy all of their character arcs. I do feel like for the most part Christian Bale just knocks it out of the park. He's great in it, and obviously he's one of our greatest living actors today. He's just terrific at pretty much everything he does, but I do think that it might have lent itself better toward a miniseries or like multi-episode type of format, because I didn't totally buy all of the character changes over time. I also feel like the screenplay at times hits you over the head with some of the same things, and I keep thinking, like, would people say that phrase? Several people just coincidentally, or is that just like a verbal tick that the screenwriter had, that he just wanted to make it clear just how nasty everyone was back then, which, while true, I'm pretty certain I think he could have done it more elegantly in the writing department. I always think about Bone Tomahawk, of all things. The writing in that Western was just terrific. The dialogue was really quite good. Another film that I really enjoy from that point of view is McCabe and Mrs. Miller, Robert Altman Western, which I think is criminally underrated and overlooked as one of the greatest Westerns ever made. But I would argue that this movie is definitely a good film, expertly acted, beautifully lensed, probably a little too much, to be honest, because I feel like almost all of their shots seem to be during that magic hour, and I feel like there's more than just twilight and dusk to shoot from. And while they didn't obviously film the movie entirely during those times, I think they got a little masturbatory there in some of the sort of montagey moments. But even still, I'd give this movie a solid B, and the PQ and AQ on this 4K disc are very good. I wouldn't say it's amazing, but it's very good. I would, say that the PQ and AQ are both like a 4.25, 4.5. It's certainly worth watching, and I would argue that it also is shelf-worthy for the most part. But I do feel like they could have done another pass through the script to make some of the dialogue a little more interesting. But nothing that I'm complaining about is anything that really demerits the film too much. I think it's a solid B Western. In fact, I might even give it a B+. It's a good film. So on that note, I would just say check it out if you haven't, and if you have, maybe revisit it. It's certainly a nice way to spend 2 hours, and it has I think an interesting story to tell. So on that note, take care. Please stay safe out there, everyone. Be kind, and keep watching good cinema.